Hey guys, Magnus here, bringing you another video. Today we're going to be looking at and talking about the minor events of 2019 and ranking them worst to best. Unfortunately, this video is going to be a little short just because there isn't really much to talk about. It's only 3 updates, 2 of which had no content, so no new content, so it's going to be a quickish video to talk about, but I think it's interesting nonetheless because minor events used to be bigger, I think. If you include episode tie-ins, which I probably would include as minor events now, like looking back on it, I kind of wished I rank them in accordance to minor events. And if ever we do get episode tie-ins again, which we haven't had one for a year now, for over a year, I think I will include them in minor events if they were ever to return, instead of doing like a whole different category for them. But yeah, so really minor events have fallen short, and it's quite a shame because sometimes they're a nice breather from the major and even mini events. It's nice to have a few minor events in there for a week or two, just to kind of take a breath and not have a massive event that you have to participate in it. Especially for new players, if you're trying to play the levels whilst this event's going, you want to get everything in the event, but at the same time you want to level up. And characters like Homer and Lisa aren't able to be utilized as much. Like, you can't use Homer and Lisa in both. You have to use them in one or the other. Like, they're used in pretty much everything, which is why I'm annoyed sometimes when events are so Homer-centric or so Lisa-centric or any of the other family members. Like, I wish that events would like kind of be run by another character. That's why I like the Round the World event. Although Homer and Lisa were involved in it, Norbert Van Houten took a lot of control as well. But yeah, overall, I think this year was pretty lackluster for minor events. I honestly don't like any of the minor events that we got this year. But regardless, let's speak about them. So this is my little intro. So we're moving on to the worst minor event of the year, in my opinion, and that goes to Marge at the Bat. So the reason why I would say this is the worst is it gave us nothing. And it gave us nothing. There was obviously returning stuff. But one of the big reasons why I kind of hated this event is it took a whole week up. I think it almost took 2 weeks up, actually. Plus, there was a break before it as well. So it was absolutely pointless. It took up time where it didn't need to take up time, and just added a bunch of old stuff that could have been added in any other event. If they really want to, they could just do a sports mystery box and just chuck that into an event, and then you appease the players that want all the sports stuff. And this is what annoys me. I feel like minor events should, unless they're actually something like an episode tie-in, or even stuff like Superheroes Returns that we got last year, it really should be added on, or only take up a week at the most. Although, like I said, I do like them for breathers. Something that's got no content in it whatsoever is just kind of boring. I like it when Tap Tap keeps flowing with content, not content that takes the characters away, but content that you can buy in the store if you're a donut player, and maybe there's some cash stuff as well that you can buy if you're a cash player. I miss the days where there's a lot of stuff in the store that you can buy for cash, because it annoys me when there's not. There should be some more cash, like limited time cash items, because it allows players who don't hack or don't pay to actually get something in these events. But this event as a whole didn't add anything, and it took up a bunch of time. So that's why I think it's the worst, in my opinion. It could have been something special if they actually put some effort into it. Just gave us a few things. It doesn't have to be anything big. Just maybe even a costume for Homer could have been cool, but whatever. It didn't give us anything. So in my opinion, the worst is Marge at the Bat. Second worst, in my opinion, goes to 4th of July. Now, the main reason why I put this, this was probably the most difficult choice, is choosing which was worse, Marge at the Bat or this. The only reason why Marge at the Bat takes the kind of wooden spoon award is because it took up so much time, whereas 4th of July was just intercepted with another update. I forget which update, but it was in another update, so it's not too bad. But regardless, this really pissed me off, this update, because there's been a tradition in Tapped Out for years, ever since we first got Abraham Lincoln, that we get a president every year. We have always got a president every year. Every year we've got one, and it annoys me because they ruined that tradition this year. Although they sort of kind of they kind of revamped it with Aaron Burr later on. It annoys me that this essentially this 4th of July, it was the first in a long time that we haven't got a president, and it's really annoying because I like that tradition. I thought it was a cool tradition that they did, and they stopped it this year, which really broke my heart. Yeah, I mean, overall, it was nothing really. It added a few returning stuff, and that's pretty much it. So, yeah, it gets to the number 2 spot. But that's the 2 worst, so what is the best? And so we'll have the drum roll for the best, but it certainly not is a good update, but we'll just give it that drum roll anyway. Black Friday 2019. So I kind of hate this update, but I have to kind of give it over the others just because this one gives us content. Although it's content behind a paywall, it's content nonetheless. So of course we got 3 buildings at this update, and that of course was the VHS Village, and I forgot the others. I remember the VHS Village because I wanted it in the game for a while. But we also got the Babies Be This and the Cosmo. Now the Cosmo generates donuts, so there is like a reward for buying it, if you will. So that's another reason why I kind of give this update over the others. But regardless, I hate this pay-to-ship thing. And if they just keep it in Black Friday, then fair enough. But even in Black Friday, it annoys me because Black Friday used to be an update where you would get deals on the stuff. Like, you would get deals on donuts. Not there would be more. You get stuff cut in half and things like this. But this Black Friday is not like this. It's really scummy that they make you have to pay money to get these items. And regardless of people sometimes argue that, oh, I'm just annoyed because I hacked the game and this is harder to hack. I can hack this regardless. It does not matter. It's like, look at it. I got this in a few days after it was released. I couldn't get it straight away, but it inconvenienced me for 24 hours. Like, big woo. That's EA have really got me there. No, this is it's just such a scummy thing to do, I think. It's a horrible update, and you can't participate in it. It wouldn't be so bad if there was just one thing that was behind a paywall, but it's like the whole update is behind a paywall. You cannot participate in the update unless you pay money. Now, if you're someone who grinds out donuts, or if you've just recently bought some donuts, then you can't, and you don't have money, then you can't participate in this event whatsoever. So I just think this update is although it's the best out of all of them, it's certainly not a good update. And so that's my opinion on Black Friday. I'm not going to repeat it because, God, I kind of done this paywall thing to death. I've ranted about this paywall thing that they sometimes do. I've ranted about it so much. But I guess the good benefit to it is that at least they're not putting it in updates anymore. They're restricting it just to the, Black Friday, and I hope they do just keep restricting it to Black Friday. Or I'd rather they just scrap it entirely. But if they keep it to Black Friday, that's not so bad. So yeah, there it is, the best minor event of the year, everyone, Black Friday, and that just tells you the status of minor events in TapTap. Oh, so anyway, if you enjoyed this video, please do tell me. This actually was longer than I expected it to be, just because of that little kind of intro at the start. But yeah, overall, that is my minor events ranked worst to best. Next up, we'll be doing character. Actually, I'll probably do costumes next, just because it's easier. Because I'm just gonna rank them from worst to best instead of doing a top 10 or a top 10 worst or a top 10 best. Because we didn't get that many costumes this year. 2019. And then I'll do my best characters, and then I'll end it with the best buildings. Just because buildings are the hardest lists to do, because there's so many buildings I have to go through. Characters, I just kind of. The ones that kind of stuck out to me, like there's obvious ones that stick out to me. Some of the bottom half of the list is harder for characters, but I have completed both my worst and best character list. I will say that the worst list is full of babies. So, but anyway, that's it for this video. Yeah, stay tuned for those ones coming out soon, and yeah, I'll see you next video. Goodbye.